People all around the world are very concerned about what could come with this Iran and Israel potential war. Some are saying that this is going to turn into a regional war. Others say, no, that if the United States gets involved at all, this will turn into a world war. Well, here's what I can tell you. Experts believe that Iran panicked. Remember, they were first attacked, or they were struck on April 1st, and then they responded on April 13th. Some say they didn't know what to do. That's why they continued to wait, but their attack actually was them hitting the panic button. Because what we know is that the majority of the strike did not even affect Israel. The majority of the missiles got shot down. So I want to break down what's going on, why Israel is somewhat concerning, and what could lead to a wider war in the Middle East. Because all this stuff is going to affect us here inside the United States as well. So I will address all that in just a moment. All I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now, let's begin. So the big question right now is, will Israel panic? Some say Israel is more equipped to wait, to actually put together a plan, and then only they could attack. But here's what I can tell you. Right now, the United States is backing Israel. We are backing Israel for one main reason. They're our closest ally in the Middle East. We have been backing them in this war between them and Hamas. And obviously, the United States and Iran are not the best of friends. So we are going to back Israel. But here's what I can tell you. We could see a wider war very soon. But it depends on the intensity of the retaliation from Israel to Iran. I want to show you this. This is from NBC News just yesterday. It says, Biden officials fret that Israeli response to Iran's attack may trigger a wider war. One of the reasons why they are worried about this is because of the size of the attack. What could we see from Israel? The United States does not want to get involved. The United States does not want any connection with the retaliation. I want to read you this statement. It says, Israel is going to consult with all its partners, but ultimately it's Israel's decision as to what the response will be. It says Israel can't allow such a large attack over Israel without some kind of response, be it small or large. It's up to the war cabinet to decide now. Here's what they're discussing. Based off of the reports that I've read this morning, what they are now discussing in Israel is to respond, but with a smaller scale attack. Not something where they're going to send 300 drones and missiles into Iran, because Iran would not be able to shoot all them down. They would hit. There were only a small amount of drones and missiles that made it through and actually hit in Israel. So because of that, they are saying that, well, maybe we don't have to go that big. Maybe just a couple missiles will be just fine to show that, yeah, we hurt them. We're not going to attack big buildings. We'll attack something that they don't even use, but they will know it was us. And we do have access to any type of missile, any type of drone, anything, and we can respond. Well, here's what I can tell you. Right now, some are very concerned about the size of the attack. And I can tell you right now that we don't know what it's going to look like until after. But everybody's concerned. And one of the reasons why I bring this up is because Israel, they have access to weapons and munition that Iran doesn't have. Just look at this story as well. This is actually from today. It says, half of the missiles Iran fired at Israel failed on launch or malfunctioned and crashed, the report says. Here's a report that we got on Saturday was the United States and allies, and obviously Israel as well, shot down all these drones and missiles. But now the report is no, that half of these missiles didn't even function properly. Iran is using things that didn't actually work. I can tell you, Israel has access to military equipment that does work because the United States has given it to them. Now, that's a problem for Iran. Now, here's the big news. Depending on the size of this strike, the retaliation attack from Israel to Iran, that's going to dictate whether this turns into a world war, a wider war, or just an increase in tensions. The New York Times put this out this morning, says with Iran strikes, Arab countries fear an expanding conflict. What we don't want is other countries getting involved, other Arab countries getting involved, because if they do, it's going to, again, create a bigger conflict. And then those countries could potentially try and attack, Iran, Israel, or other countries that they deem fit. Here's the one thing that we don't want. We do not want the United States involved. If the United States gets more involved in this conflict, a potential war, then it's going to drag the U.S. into a war. We are going to see oil is already, we're having some issues with oil right now because this is in the Middle East. We are going to see production to oil take a hit. If oil production takes an even greater hit, currently supply is limited here in the United States. That means chances are oil prices are going to go up. It's going to take a hit initially, but because the supply and demand principle, especially when it comes to gasoline, well, it's going to go up. Expect to pay more. Again, there's a lot of problems, but the one thing that I can tell you is it all depends on the size of the retaliatory attack on Iran. If Israel's attack is too big, too large, Iran will respond again. But whether they hit Israel or not, that we just don't know. So we'll see what happens moving forward. The one thing that we are all looking at right now is, what is this retaliation going to look like? Is it going to be a direct attack on Iran? Are they going to be patient and wait and for the right opportunity? Again, that we just don't know. All we know right now is based off of what many media outlets have been saying, is that the Biden administration, they have, and the G7 leaders, they have discussed this. But they're really leaving it up to Israel's war cabinet to decide what is the proper response. All President Biden has said right now is he's talked to Benjamin Netanyahu, and they've discussed this, that the United States is going to back Israel, but at the same time, he wants him to be patient and find the right response. So, we'll see what happens. The only thing I'm worried about at this point is Israel panics because their citizens want a response immediately. So if Israel panics and does something too big, too large, too soon, this could bring the entire region into a regional war. So that's where we're at this time. Promise as soon as we get more information, I'll bring that to you, as soon as possible. But that is what we know as of today. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.